Good afternoon. Today I'm going to discuss about the exception handling mechanism in Java. So here we have an important concept, that is exception. What before that we must know about what is exception. Exception is one of the powerful mechanism to handle the runtime errors so that the normal flow of the applications can be maintained. Uh, for example, we must know about the errors and exceptions. What is mean by errors? So the errors is nothing but we have if we made a mistake in any syntax, any colon, any something, it will not be run. It will be make an error and we have to rectify. But here in the exception is nothing but we have a applications to maintain to normal flow will be continued, but the errors will be the runtime errors will be handled by these mechanisms. So try, catch, throw, throws, and finally, and these are the keywords which used to do the exceptions. We handle the exceptions. So what is exception in Java? It is an event that occurs during the execution of the program that disturbs the normal flow of instructions. These executions can occur for various reasons, such as invalid user input, not found, or division by zero. When an exception occurs, it is typically represented by an object of an superclass of the java.lang.exception class. So it is comes under the java.lang.exception class. So this is the diagram. You see this, we having an two things, throwable. That is a throwable is a class. Throwable is a class. Throwable is a in the interface. We having an in exception and the error. So in exception, we have an IO exceptions, SQL exceptions, class not found exceptions, runtime exceptions. In errors, we have an stack flow overflow error, virtual machine error, and out of memory errors. So in runtime exceptions, we have classified into arithmetic exceptions, null point exceptions, number format exceptions, indexed out of bound exceptions. In index out of bound exceptions, where there are two types. One is array index out of bound exceptions and string out of index out of bound exceptions. So these are the throwable class. So types of exceptions, we have two types of exceptions. One is checked exception and unchecked exceptions. Additionally, there is a third category known as errors. We have checked exception, unchecked exceptions, and errors. So on this checked exception, we have in this checked exceptions, the errors will be occurred, the exceptions will be checked at the compile time. This means that the compilers verifies that the code handles these exceptions either by catching them or declaring them in the method signature using the throws keyword. The example of checked exceptions include IO exceptions, SQL exceptions, and parse exceptions, class not found exceptions. So IA exception is nothing but an exception is thrown in when an input or output operations fails, such as when reading from or writing to a file. SQL exceptions. It is a thrown when an event occurs while accessing a database. The parse exceptions indicates a problem while parsing a string into the another data type, such as parsing a data. A class not found exceptions. It is a thrown when a multiple applications. It is thrown when an application tries to load the class through its string name using methods like class.forName. But the class with the specified name cannot be found in class path. So unchecked exceptions, unchecked exceptions, runtime exceptions. The unchecked exceptions, also known as runtime exceptions, are not checked at the compile time. These exceptions usually occur due to the program errors, such as logic errors or incorrect exceptions. Assumption in the code, they do not need to declare in the method signature using the throws keyword, making it optional to handle them. So null pointer exceptions. It is thrown when trying to access or call a method to an object that is null. The array index out of bound exceptions. It is occur when we try to access an array element with invalid index. The arithmetic exception. It is thrown when arithmetic operations fails, such as division by zero. So illegal argument exceptions. It indicates that the method has been paused and illegal and inappropriate argument. So errors. The errors that are not accepted by not accepted to a court under the normal circumstances. They are typically caused by the issues outside the control of the applications, such as system failures or resource exhaustions. Errors are not meant to be a caught or handled by application code. The examples of errors include out of memory error, stack overflow error, no class diff found error. It occurs when the Java machine cannot allocate enough memory for the applications. So it is thrown when the stack memory is exhausted due to excessive recursions. No class def found error. It indicates that the JVM cannot find the definitions of the class that was available at the compile time. So these are the three types of exceptions.